What's going on, everyone? So, a lot of questions about Austin Reaves. Obviously, he is in a contract year. What kind of contract does he want? I mean, he can get as much as like $50 million a year, which is way overpaid, right? Now, maybe at like $30 million, sure, 35, okay. My concern is that, one, does he work, right? We saw glimpses of it. I'm not saying it won't, right? Especially if you get the right defensive pieces around him, if DeAndre Ayton buys in, right? Like, there is a version of it that can work, of course, but there's also a version where it's just terrible, right? It's too redundant as far as like the skill set alongside Luka and the defensive liability, right? So Lakers are going to have to make some decisions. That's something that they have to make right this second, but as the season progresses, it's something that I've even talked about, like, hey, we should kind of keep an eye on, see how that kind of works, right? You get to the trade deadline and it's like, okay, now are we really going to pay Austin Reaves $40 million, which at that price, you might not even be able to trade him with the new CBA, right? So you don't want to end up overpaying Austin Reaves, right? Austin Reaves is great at $14 million, $14 million a year, right? He's one of the best, if not arguably the best contracts in all of basketball. It's not going to be that anymore. Right now, you're talking about a potential of him being greatly overpaid. Not just overpaid, but greatly overpaid. And with the new CBA, you're probably not going to be able to trade him. And now you're stuck, and you want to talk about flexibility. There is a version of this that ends terribly. Or you're letting him walk and leave for nothing. Now, I don't really think that they would lose him for nothing, right? I think he's not going to want to go to a bad team. Right? He's probably going to want to go to a team where he has a chance and has a shot. So I think worst case, you can pull off a sign and trade in the offseason. But again, this is stuff that the Lakers are going to have to kind of gauge and figure out. I mean, there's an argument now that you have Marcus Smart to bring in and start Marcus Smart alongside Luka. I believe that they should. The problem is they're not going to, because one, Austin Reaves, they're not going to do that to Austin Reaves. Two, you kind of want to keep Austin Reaves happy right now. As silly as that might sound to some people, it's the reality, right? You don't want him to leave and lose him for nothing. You want him kind of on board. And even if you look to trade him or sign and trade him in the offseason, you're going to need his help and assistance. You want to do right by him so he does right by you if that's the direction you end up going. So kind of this hard spot for the Lakers to be in. But you also have Jake Weinbach, who also kind of gave us some information on the Austin Reaves situation. And according to Jake Weinbach, Austin Reaves' situation with the Lakers is one to monitor across the league. Reaves reportedly declined a 4-year, $89.2 million extension from the Lakers last month, and is widely expected to decline his $14.8 million player option next summer to become an unrestricted free agent. If the two sides are far apart on extension talks, the Lakers may shop the value of a 27-year-old guard to avoid the possibility of losing him for nothing once 2026 free agency comes around. So again, even Jake is like, hey, he's not saying anything's going to happen. He's not saying that they're going to trade him or anything like that, but it's just, hey, it's something to kind of keep an eye on. And, the league is keeping an eye on it. There are teams that want and would be interested in a Austin Reaves, right? So they want to kind of know, okay, like, what are the Lakers going to do? Is he going to become available? There are teams that could use his playmaking, that could use his, his shot creation and stuff, right? So, I'm sure that if the Lakers were to put him on the market, they would get plenty of calls. The problem is this is where his contract hurts the Lakers. The contract was great when it was cheap, right? But now it is too cheap, right? Because if you're looking to trade him, you want to get value or equivalent or, more value for him than you would. Problem is he's making $14 million. Like, how do you you can't trade him. Like, even an Andrew Wiggins right now, and I'm not saying that the Lakers should swap Andrew Wiggins for Austin Reaves. I'm saying that they literally cannot. Even if the Lakers wanted to, even if you're somebody that's like, dude, just trade him for Andrew Wiggins, they can't, right? A Jalen Suggs would be ideal, or ideal slotted alongside a Luka Doncic, right? As that young point of attack, two-way, 3-and-D style guard, one of the best perimeter defender guards in all of basketball. You can't even swap him. Even if the Magic were like, yeah, hey, let's just do an even swap. You can't swap him. Somebody like KCP, you can't swap. Like, you're talking about guys like, swapping them for like a Matisse Thybulle or something like that, or getting a couple guys, right? Getting like an Ayo Dosunmu and Jalen Smith, something like that, right? Like, and it's just like, is that the best value and allocation of Austin Reaves to bring back? So now you have to add other things to that, right? Now you could do something like, I'll just use Portland as an example. I don't think Portland would do this, by the way, but I'm just using them as an example. So don't take it literal. But like, let's say they were like, hey, we'll give you, you know, Kamara and Thibault for Austin Reaves, and we'll give you, you know, like 2 firsts. Then yeah, it's like, okay, you're getting a young wing that, you know, makes sense, right? You're getting a guy that helps you now, veteran guy, but you're also getting picks on top of it. Like, Lakers need to find a trade like that, a package like that for Austin Reaves, where a team just values Austin Reaves and thinks, right, and is looking at his numbers without LeBron. Without LeBron, he's 28, 6 and 8. It's like, you know, the team's like, man, that could maybe be it for us. You need to find that person that believes that that's Austin Reaves. That Austin Reaves is a 28, 6 and 8 guy on our roster. So we're willing to pay and give up like an all-star caliber type of package, right? That there might not be very many teams for, right? If any. And a lot of those teams might look at it as like, we could just sign him. Also, you got to keep in mind, Austin Reaves has to want to go to that team. Right? So, for example, let's say Detroit wants him, right? Let's say that they're willing to give up, you know, Jaden Ivey and all these other pieces for him, right? They're like, hey, you know, pick it. Anybody but, you know, Duran and Cade you can have. Right? And Lakers are like, we want these guys, we want this guy. Well, Austin Reaves himself said he's not going to Detroit, that he's never going to play in Detroit, right? So there goes Detroit, right? Like, so any team that is willing to maybe pony up to go get Austin Reaves has to approve. Austin Reaves almost essentially has a no trade clause because, again, if he doesn't want to go to that team's not going to make the trade. If Austin Reaves goes, hey, I'm not signing a new contract with you, right, then he's not going to want to do it. Now, it might be one of those things where that if that team is willing to pay him, it's like, hey, we're willing to give you the max, right? Then maybe Austin Reaves is like, you know what? I love you guys. Like, if Detroit's like, hey, we're willing to max you out, you might be like, you know what, Detroit ain't that bad, right? Like, you know, it just depends. But how many teams are going to be willing to pay him $50 million a year, right? Like, now maybe a team would be willing to pay him more. And you do have a couple teams that have, you know, that have cap space, right? Like Brooklyn and stuff like that. But, you know, at his age, right, is he going to want to go to a team that's going to take 3 or 4 years to kind of get where they need to be to contend? Or does he want to go to a contender? So he's probably going to want to go to a contender, which is why I think a sign and trade is probably the best route once you get into the offseason. Because I just think any trade that you make right now, you're not going to get the value that justifies and makes sense. Like I've always maintained, I'm not against trading Austin Reaves. Never have. Right? If you're familiar with me, familiar with my channels, talk about trading Austin Reaves a lot. Right? I like Austin Reaves. I think he's a great player. But after Luka, he just becomes redundant. Right? But I don't want to trade Austin Reaves just to trade Austin Reaves, right? Like, I just think that that's silly. He's still good enough to where you at least let it ride this season. And, you know, if it becomes that bad, which I don't think it will be, then yeah, you know, if it becomes like, you know, addition by subtraction, then yeah, maybe you look for that, but I don't think it'll be that bad. And Austin Reaves has value during the regular season. He's usually healthy, right? So he's a guy that, you know, if Luka and LeBron miss games, he can step in, play big, and win you games. Right? Like, there's value in Austin Reaves for the Lakers. Right? He's not a guy that I expect the Lakers to just move off of just to move off of because they're scared of losing him. Right? Like, worst case scenario, they'll pay him. That's my fear, right? But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me a lot. If you enjoyed these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.